And we're back. Yeah, y'all know what's going on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Got the squad in here with me today. Hidden Black's Law. We are in the building, man. What's going on, fellas?
Up and at it.
Yes,
what's up?
Sir.
Google in plain sight.
You never have to get up when you don't sleep, so.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it. Facts. I got up at like 2 o'clock, man. Been up ever since.
Similar
you know
mission.
how I get down. What's that?
Big facts. Another good day.
Yeah, right now I go off the superheroes drink. No, take a micro nap.
How
30 minutes here, 12 minutes there. No.
Oh, that was that Sun Ra was on that. He used to always say he was catnapping.
Your actually brain has to work actually better. It has to process everything better in order for you to function in life, because everything is at a heightened state. Because just before you are too tired to continue working, your brain is pretty much working at max capacity to try to keep you sufficient functioning properly until it can get some rest. So you gotta get those micros.
Oh man. Already. They drop it on them. That's what's up, man. Hey, this week in laws, codes, and
what do I know? I don't know nothing. So.
Nah, you know what you're doing, man. You do it all, man. Body and health, mind. I know what you do. Hidden Black's Law, Overstand the podcast. We live. Google in plain sight. It's your boy Big Bach, everything DMV Radio. Welcome back. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna keep this thing going for y'all.
Nice. All right, well, here we are. It's February, so we diving into, what some would call Black History Month. That's the time that it's only slated on your calendar. I personally prefer to celebrate Black History in June, in commemoration of Juneteenth. But you do as you'd like after you do your due diligence. And so, since we're in that time frame right now, we figured we'd kind of use this, the topical subject matter that Black people in general, more specifically and more often Black men, have to deal with interactions with the police, and we're going to kind of use that to pave a narrative path through all this information we got for y'all today.
Absolutely. So just a quick disclaimer.
You gonna drop it on?
I'll say it too well. Yeah.
No, you do.
Okay. All right. So once again, we're here in an educational and entertainment capacity, giving out information that's factual. But if you are seeking legal counsel, please do your own due diligence and seek it as you are so advised. Otherwise, just partake in the informations that we will be delivering in this cast here for you for your own reference.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much. Yes.
All right, so I guess I'll just drop the title we ended up, I guess, landing on for this cast, which is Language of Interaction.
Yes. That's very important, man. Very important.
Yeah.
So the reason for the title of Language of Interaction is when you are discussing things and when you're getting to a situation where you are being so when you get into situations where there are law enforcement and men with guns around, firearms, your language needs to be measured very measured, very calculated, and very direct if you so choose. Uh, a lot of times, what happens is us as Black men, especially Black people in general, and minorities in general, but Black men, to be specific and to speak to us, um, we have these conversations with our kids to keep them safe. You know, to make sure they live to see another day, to make sure they make it home, um, so that you do not have to worry about going to a funeral in 2 weeks or a week. Um, and it is a stressful situation. It's a situation that pretty much 99.9% of Black men have had this conversation with at least one of their male adult role models or male adult figures in their life. Um, it shouldn't have to be you shouldn't have to have that conversation, but that is the reality of life in America. It's hasn't changed, not one day, never. Since the first day that we been captured, kidnapped, and brought over here, it's been the same conversation in different languages, even. Don't get killed. Don't get killed. Trying to make sure you make it home, so we can try to make sure that you stay alive. Um, and the fact is one that doesn't need to have to happen. What does at the same time is really the most disheartening out of all the issues that we face for the most part in our lives. It's a it's a it's a language that only people who are look like us have to talk about, and only people who look like us will understand, because we are the only ones who go through the situation. People can talk about, oh, they feel empathy and they feel apathy, but to actually feel is something that is relegated to just us. So, with that being said, the interactions, the difference that men have to start talking in our community, because a lot of times we all have the conversation with our kids and we talk about it in terms of children and making it home, but we never have that conversation about us men having to have that conversation and knowing the difference between our situation and their situation. So we more of a ability to protect ourselves than they. Um, at the end of the day, the goal is the same: make it home safe and continue to live your life, so that way you can spend time with your family as much as possible. But also, it is educating them on how to change that narrative in the future, because we're not going to change it today. Be real factual with you. Biden's not going to change that. He's never thought of changing it. That's not his goal. He's never been that. If you ever look at his record, he's never been that guy. He's always been the guy opposed to that. So don't look to, as Bible say, don't follow false idols. You have to make sure that if you are going to be the person, man, woman, that your son, daughter look up to, that you are in a position of understanding to where they are look up to for a reason. The language they use as a language that is used, or that is used in court. So there's a difference between the statutory language than there is between the law language. And like we talked about in last task, if you don't know the proper way to say the word, then you don't know the password. and we'll go further into that, and I'll let Plain Cite take it from here about the.
All right, so as Google was just stating, when you're talking about having that talk with your children about how they need to interact with the police in order to survive, we gotta reference something for ourselves in order, to engage those kinds of people with the language that's requisite to probably, if they're even remotely cognizant, will make them check themselves because they recognize that the law is in hand, of the person they're talking with. So one thing I thought would be of particular note would be the idea of, like, so when you're in these situations, the person representing the state at that point, they've detained you, and they will call it, now what they'll call it, they'll measure it based on however that interaction keeps on progressing. But basically the point is, once you're detained, you're under a form of arrest, so in their jurisdictional view. So what you have to understand is, when you're in that, actually what's going on in those particular situations, when you're being detained against your will, you're actually being kidnapped, and that's the commercial violation that they're in the that's what they're in the process of committing while they detain you unlawfully. And if you know to refer to it as such, they understand the consequences that they're dealing with upon further engaging with you in that manner, because now they understand that you're aware of what it is in law that they're violating. And they'll definitely, I mean, I've seen it a couple times at least, the manner of the people of the state changes almost immediately once you bring into the question, like, whoa, you're in the process of kidnapping, because they understand what's on the line if they continue to interact with you at that point.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, so very important to know what kind of language you're communicating in when these encounters are in progress. So now, I mean, I got our next bullet point as rights versus privileges, but if there's anything you wanted to kick further to that idea of, arrest, detention versus kidnapping, Google, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, it's not just so much as long as you're speaking to them in that situation right there and then. It is also any process further than that altercation or that kidnapping right there. You should make sure that it's always understood that this is the manner that you're going in. When you get a defense attorney, when you get a public defender, when you get in front of a judge or a courtroom or anything like that, make sure you keep the same language that you are supposed to be using. Don't worry about their language. Their language is not even an issue for you, because it's not the language you're going to be talking in, because that's not a language for you. Oh. That is a language that they're using, because that is a language they know, which is to get you to do what they need you to do. Okay? It doesn't behoove you to ever try to pretend to be part of their system, because their system is not law for men and women. Their system is law for public employees or citizens. So you have to make sure you understand the difference between the words you are using for you versus the words you are using to assist them.
Matter of fact, man, let me just chime in really quick. Gotta add this in, because you actually sent me the citation for this, and it's the definition of the word understanding. So in the law of contracts, this is a loose and ambiguous term unless it is to be accompanied by some expression to show that it is constituted a meeting of the minds of parties upon something respecting which they intend to be bound. But it may denote an informal agreement or a concurrence as to its terms. More or so, let's keep going. Understood. The phrase "it is understood" when employed as a word of contract in a written agreement has the same force as the words "it is agreed." So it's very important to actually, yeah, go ahead.
So, like he was saying, so when someone has you in a position where they have a gun and they are talking to you and they will ask you, do you understand? They're saying you agree to whatever I'm doing. Because that's what the understand means. It means you agree. It doesn't mean I comprehend. It means you agree. So when you agree to whatever they're doing, you say, okay, continue doing what you were doing. That's a big distinction, especially when you're talking about, your life in jeopardy, is telling someone what they're doing is okay with you to do.
Wow.
So they know that. You don't know that, but they know exactly what they're saying. You don't know exactly what they're saying, but they know exactly what they're saying.
You don't know, but you claim to understand.
Then they pull out that video footage and it's like, I asked you, did you understand? You said yes.
Exactly.
Yep, that's where it goes.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and I harp on language no matter who it is. It doesn't matter my family, it doesn't matter my brother, my sister, my father, best friends, acquaintances. Bach, you know exactly how much I harp on language.
Absolutely.
It means everything. It means everything and everything and everything. And until you get that through your head, until you comprehend that is what is working against you every single day of your life, you will always be subjected to the same situations that you have always been subjected to. Because if you don't disagree, then you agree.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
My whole goal, I don't mean to ramble on, plain sight. I'm gonna let you get in a second.
You good?
My whole goal in life and through my ties with the system itself is to make sure that people are in a better place than what they were yesterday. The people I talk to understand that. They also understand that they have a goal which has nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. So the merger and the meeting of minds between us is a lot of time on a superficial level. Because as far as their goal is concerned, we will never be able to have a meeting of the minds. Because my goal is contradictory and hurtful to their goal. So listen to what I said again. My goal is to make sure that your life is better than the day it was yesterday. My dealings with the system and government says that my goal is hurtful to their goal.
Hey man, that's at a Codex Alimentarius. If you want to have some fun, look that up. Food regulation. But yeah, so yeah, we was talking about, so we in all of this, we led back around to the idea of rights versus privilege, right? Did we touch on that?
Well, let's go back to the language and the interaction itself.
Okay, yeah.
So as Plain Sight was saying, they will tell you you're under arrest. What the law says is a kidnapping. There's two different distinctions because there are two playbooks. There's your playbook and there's their playbook. They're trying to win the game. all you're doing is trying not to lose. There's a big difference. And when you play to not lose, you always end up losing. When they say, when they, like I said, when they say you understand, you say you agree. You say yes. Same thing. They're playing by a different set of rules and a different set of words and a different set of definitions.
Oh man.
When they say,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to read the legal definition of kidnap because I remember we had discussed it earlier.
Yes.
So I
Yeah,
figured
we gotta
it'd
make
be a
sure.
good time. Yeah. So now you can say, "Oh, I see the nature of the offense." So under federal and state law, kidnapping is commonly defined as taking of a person from one place to another against their will, or the confinement of a person to a controlled space. So now, yes, there's a human rights component to that violation, tethered to the fact what does a kidnapper usually do? They usually hold you for ransom. What are they going to do when they take you down to the station? It's
Good God Almighty!
Hold you for ransom.
It's commercial in nature.
Man.
It's commercial in nature.
Wow. The vision on that is so clear. It's so clear. That's remarkable. You know, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it like that. But a kidnap then hold you for ransom. That is absolutely facts. Wow. This is eye-opening for a lot of people, man.
Yeah, and that's why we definitely wanted to like hit hard on the practical application. We can't try and hammer that in. Like, yeah, it's cool to talk all this law stuff, but we're not trying to go all outside the wheelhouse. You need to understand it in its essence and how it can be of most use to you in everyday situations. Oh, so this is what I wanted to talk about. Matter of fact, we were talking about the fact that when you're being detained, you're in this quasi-kidnapped state because they're trying to ultimately kidnap you. That's the objective, right? So in that, you need to know about UCC 3-102, which is, of course, basically you're noting the condition of being under duress and conditionally agreeing to documents without prejudice. So we gotta get into that real quick because I know I just took things left.
Yeah, man. Talk to him, man.
Wow. Let me grab this real quick. Cause man, let me just get the straight up UCC joint. Go ahead. You can harp. You got
it. While he's doing that, I'll add in a point. Through threat, duress, and coercion. TDC. Remember those words: threat, duress, and coercion, because that means that's the only way you are willing to sign anything. If you're saying that's the only way you're willing to sign or agree to anything, well then if you bring it up in a court, they can say, oh, you said you agreed to it. No, it was through threat, duress, and coercion. So you did not legally or lawfully agree to anything. You agreed that you didn't want to die that day, but you did not agree that you were assisting them in kidnapping you. And even the whole word of arrest, right? Like I said, they have their language they use that is different from the actual language that you are supposed to use. When they say we're detaining you, they won't say they're arresting you. Even though if you look it up, where's my case logs? I'll bring it up at another. I'm gonna look it up real quick just so I can give you the exact case. But if they are, quote unquote, as they say, detaining you, then that is an arrest. That is legally defined as an arrest. Because anytime you're stopping anyone from moving about at their leisure in their own personal capacity, that is an arrest, even in their language. But when they talk to you, they'll say they're detaining you. They won't say they're arresting you. because they're trying to keep you in a position of agreeing to being arrested.
Wow. Wow.
So anytime, if you, like I said, this is the conversation we need to have with each other as men.
Yeah.
If they're talking about, oh, we're just detaining you, so you're saying you're putting me under arrest. They'll be like, no, we're just detaining you, so you're putting me under arrest, because that's legally what it's called. You can look it up. I can give you the law right now.
Yeah, they're gonna try to shift the conversation. Like, are you in handcuffs? And try to make it feel. No, we know what a detention is. It's an arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they don't do that, what they'll try to do is say, why are you acting so aggressive?
Yeah.
They'll try to escalate it.
They're trying to change the situation and the narrative, so that way they can put you in handcuffs, so they can say, we're arresting you. And even in that, they will say, we're arresting you for resisting arrest. That is not charged. Even in their book, you can't arrest someone for resisting arrest. There has to be a precursor arrest. A precursor crime has to be involved for you to even resist arrest. Because if there is no precursor, then what are you resisting?
Right.
Because even in that instance, you can understand that the only thing you can resist from that point is kidnapping.
Yep. I was about to say that sounds like that stock stuff that's happening. It's like, oh, what's a naked short? How can I resist arrest? So, I'm resisting being kidnapped. That's totally within my rights. Oh, funny you should say that. Or some funny we should jump into that content, because I was also delivered something from Google that basically has several case citations about what it is what's within your abilities and rights when you're dealing with an unlawful arrest, which is basically all these conditions we're discussing now. So here goes like a main Supreme Court case you might want to just tuck in your cap, hang on to. That's going to be 461 U.S. 352 from 1983. So, in which the United States Supreme Court ruled that a police officer could not arrest a citizen merely for refusing to present identification. The Constitution decrees that they're acting outside the Constitution the moment they attempt to do that. We don't do freedom papers here, as someone once said.
Wow.
There is no such thing as failure to identify. You can sue the police for an illegal arrest and resist arrest with impunity. I got like 4 more cases if you want them that keep going.
I would say go ahead and read them off just so people can go, because the language, like I said, the language is what you need to know.
Got you. So here's State versus Robinson. An illegal arrest is an assault and battery. The person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force in defending himself as he would in repelling any other assault and battery. So at the point that the person representing the state steps outside of what their constitutional authority is, you got the right to protect yourself like it's any other man trying to come up on you. All right, here it goes. State. Go ahead.
So you have to look at, if you look back at the cases of Tupac Shakur, and also who's the most recent one? I'm trying to remember his name, but anyway, or Tupac Shakur, or you can look at they defended themselves and defended someone else from an illegal arrest.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about this, but by shooting the officers, or I should say the public servants.
Well,
they did not have
in the color of state authority.
So they did everything in their power to make sure that nothing happened to that individual's life, because that life was being threatened at the time, and they got charges dismissed because they did everything within their legal right. right at all times. So you have the right to protect yourself at all times.
Wow, like you in a boxing match.
So
Yeah.
always.
From the bell to the bell till after the fight, man. I seen a dude, they had already unwrapped the gloves. He lost the decision. Went to hug, congratulate his opponent, punched him dead on his chin back in 2001. Same dude who killed Max Kellerman's brother. Hey, but all that to say, you got to protect yourself at all times.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, so here's the next matter. State versus Mobley. Each person has the right to resist an unlawful arrest. In such a case, the person attempting the arrest stands in the position of a wrongdoer and may be resisted by the use of force, as in self-defense. Simple. All right, here's another one. Adams versus State. One may come to the aid of another being unlawfully arrested, just as he may where one is being assaulted, molested, raped, or kidnapped. Thus, it is not an offense to liberate one from unlawful custody of an officer, even though he may have submitted to such custody without resistance. You can even say, hey, get up off him. What we was just talking about, Tupac.
Oh, man.
Get off of that man. And lastly, here goes Jones versus State. And that says, these principles apply as well as an officer attempting to make an arrest who abuses his authority and transcends the bounds thereof by the use of unnecessary force and violence, as they do to a private individual who unlawfully uses such force and violence. All that to say, they swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. Once they break that oath, they're any other enemy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it starts with not agreeing.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign. You don't have to agree. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. They'll tell you otherwise. They can tell you anything they want to. It's your choice whether or not you're going to do it. Choices. It's all about choices and wording. If you understand the wording, you understand your choices.
Multiple choice.
Yeah.
Now I think we could you want to get into that Google hyperlink I sent over that you might want to post to the general thread. That's at Wayne Stump letter.
Absolutely.
We can just outline it real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got you. I had to open it up right quick. All right, so check it out. So this is from the governor of Arizona. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator of Arizona. And this is a letter he sent over to the Arizona State Senate to have it notified to the record. And in that letter, he sent it to Ralph Milstead, Director, Department of Public Safety, State of Arizona. So it says, Dear Director Milstead, it has come to my attention that numerous individuals in our state have rescinded all of their contracts with the United States federal government, the state of Arizona, and each of its political subdivisions, establishing themselves as free men under the organic national constitution of the Republic of the United States of America. Consequently, they may be driving without auto registration, driver's license, or any other evidence of contract. Because many law enforcement personnel may be unaware of the contractual nature of auto registration and driver's licenses, it is conceivable that this situation may lead to confrontation between these individuals and law enforcement personnel. I urge you to inform yourself and your personnel about this matter as soon as possible. If you would like to be briefed by someone knowledgeable of this subject, please contact me. In the meantime, insomuch as this procedure is entirely appropriate when properly carried out, I would like to personally notify of every such instance of confrontation in order that the persons involved and the public officials involved may be appraised of the correct procedure and the appropriateness of their actions on the part of each concerned. And then he gives off his office number and says he's requesting to be notified of the names and incidences along with the address and phone numbers of the participants of any such confrontations arising from the exercise of a person's free man status in order to evaluate the outcome of properly rescinded contracts.
Wow.
Yeah, had to step in. Say, hold up.
And that was in what, 85?
Yep, it was like, a couple of weeks before I was born.
Now, the crazy thing is that we have this document. It's already here. It's in place. But they still are even doing these procedural things within their organization of policing or being a help to the community, as in safety wise. And it's false. Like it's not not supposed to be done.
So wait. So let's look at this, right? You have police. Wording means everything to me, right? They say all the time, we are doing our job in order to protect the public, right? Now, when they go to court, they say, we are trying to protect ourselves and the public because we don't know if that individual is a criminal or this, that, and third, right? So they're going to every situation looking at everyone as a criminal or guilty. But they say they're trying to protect the public from the criminals and the guilty. If everyone is a criminal and guilty, who are you protecting the public from?
Right.
Yeah, so here's a fun thing. I know Google is well aware of this one. Of course, we all are. But back in 2005, the Supreme Court justices ruled that police do not have a constitutional duty to protect anyone. That's on the record. It's a slogan. It's branding.
Wow.
They're not here to protect you.
Only when we call you and need your service. And I'm not calling.
I will go. We'll take it even one step further. Like I said, wording means everything, right? So when the school shootings happened, and they had that law enforcement agent and the cop who did not go into the school, did not help. He just sat outside and waited. And everybody was blasting him about waiting outside and doing everything. And they tried to sue him. Went to court. It was ruled that he had no duty to protect anyone. And he got his job back. They don't talk about that outcome. They don't talk about the actual outcome of the trial. They don't only talk about the trial itself. They don't talk about the outcome.
Wow.
His duty was never to protect anyone. That's not his job. His job is to enforce the policies on the books.
Mm.
So when they say serve and protect, they are serving the government by protection of the policies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They don't tell you what serve and protect means. They just tell you serve and protect. They don't say who. They don't say what.
Mm.
They just tell you serve and protect.
Right.
So if you don't know the context of what they're talking about, if you don't know the language they are using, you are not playing the same game.
Right.
You are over here playing checkers, and they're over here playing chess.
Man, and that's what it does. I'm telling you, and even for me right now, just based on what I just said after he had, read that, like I really have to dig in deep, and I have to change my thoughts. I have to change the way that I see it. You know what I mean? Because basically, how you just explained it to me is it's not even for me. And I'm here, saying like only if I call them, like, but it's not for me. It's for their policy. You know what I'm saying? So even that alone will put myself in the mix.
They workplace security.
Yourself
That's
under their, yes, you would put yourself under their wording and terminology. As soon as you call them, you made yourself available to whatever they decide.
matter of fact,
You
yeah,
guys said, I agree.
man. Early in this whole thing, when I was gathering, someone hit me with this one joint. I was just like, whoa. Basically, and I say this all the time to everyone I run across it in just basic, like, if you talk to me long enough, I'm gonna end up saying this to you. And say it the long way first. Every encounter with a state agent is an attempt to create joinder. Or, as I put it simply to other folk when I'm trying to like give them a little something, every interaction with the cops is case building. Every single one. They're building a case on you. So I don't know why you would ever opt into engagement.
Wow. Insane. Facts, so.
It's all factual. Like I said, we gave you the cases, we gave you the wording. You can go look it up. There's nothing that we say that you cannot research, that you cannot see for yourself, that you cannot validate and verify for yourself.
Yeah, man. I went as simple as a Washington Post article, for one thing.
A lot of people get mad is because they always are of the thought process that when you go to court or wherever we do things, they're always telling you in the language you understand. No, everything they say is in that language that they understand over there, not in your language. All words matter. Just like they always try to say all lives matter. No, all words matter.
I like that. I really like that.
Listen. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, let me ask you this though. Do you know what do we have any of the outcomes from any of those from Wayne's stump, of anybody who like went through that and it was like the outcome of the case or the officers or what happened?
No, because no one ever brings it up. No one ever does it. That's the thing. When you go to court, what do? You get an attorney. What does your attorney do? He acts within their system. So what do? You don't lose every single right you ever had on the God-given earth. Because you give it up for the attorney.
Yeah, damn.
Protect their interest.
You became a ward of the state as soon as you picked up an attorney.
Damn.
It's custodial.
God. This system vicious.
Compensation.
Yeah, I will say, as far as this letter from Wayne Stump, that's oh, you was breaking up. What did you say?
Nah, they just got compensation for their time.
Oh. Yeah, as far as this letter and any outcomes, it's notarized. And I mean, the reason why we can read it off here is because it's been entered into the record, because it was just it was notice. So I mean, he did put it on the record. Here we have the senator of Arizona stating for the record that free men, as the title states, are always given the option to not sign into any contracts with the government. I mean, here's an official telling you as much. So, I mean, hey, you do with that what you will. I think you can only dig from there and start to understand that the law applies in a different way when the senator feels compelled to make sure this is known.
Right.
And then you got to remember too that he made sure to talk about the article, which everyone is guaranteed the rule or the right to a republic form of government. Republic form of government is common law, or the law of no contracts and no written contracts.
Yep.
So if someone decides to tell you you have to write down a contract in order to do something, that is outside of the legal realm of republic form of law, which is guaranteed to men and women. Democratic is guaranteed to citizens.
Actually, let me get you this real quick, only because it does it so nicely. So, the People's U.S. Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, guarantees a republican form of government, not a democracy. The uncodified common law is the superior law of the people, and the codified civil law is the special or inferior law of the government and its agency. That's employee policy.
Wow. Wow.
So as our name said, you can Google this and it's all in plain sight.
Hey, love it. Hey, love it.
Facts, though. Facts. Oh, man.
Big facts.
So it's like,
That's
problem
what's
is,
up.
will you Google it?
Don't dress it up. Nah, you can have it as is. Come as you are, as they say.
Absolutely.
Do you even care? Learn it. Because will you Google it?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I say if you want to come at this information with a confrontational mindset, whatever jogs you towards the information hunt, enjoy your journey, because you're going to walk out with a different point of view if you care to read.
And that's what it is, man. It's right there. It's in the facts. It's in the paperwork. It's all available. I don't know if y'all ever heard about this guy, man, but his name is Dane Calloway. And all he does is go back and look at the documents of, all of the, slaves and all that type of stuff, and try to get people to understand, that we are the people from this island, this land already. Like, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah. But he talks about how the information is there if you're willing to read it.
Always.
I mean, hey, sometimes.
Now, I will say this. Google made it to take off some information and made it harder to find. Because if you try to look up the definition for what we trying common law, you find Black's Law's Dictionary definition version of it, even though it is legally the definition that they use always in courts. It tells you plainly that is law of man and law of no contracts, unwritten contracts. And you do not have to, it applies to men, and you can use it at all because it is the superior form of law, not the minor, not the minor or inferior. It is always the superior. So what the Supreme Court uses is superior, and that's why Supreme Court says the things they say, because they're using superior law. They don't care about the statutes. They don't.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is funny, because on top of that, you can easily dive in and see, oh, now I see why the term citizen doesn't come up to the 14th Amendment. They had to construct the corporation and then have a label to put people who work underneath it to abide by. And so now we have the people who are subjugated to that authorization or that policy language. It's reactive.
Damn, boy. Oh.
So, we're trying to drop knowledge on y'all. So there is a video on YouTube. I'm gonna put it out there because I put it out there a lot, so I don't think it gets enough track. He will take it down.
Oh, the Scalia joint.
Right? Yeah, Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, who you see all the time. He's talking. He's in congressional meetings. He's always the one who for the Republican Party, and which more well versed member of the Republican Party can speak clearly and eloquently enough to get to agree with. He had a conversation with. In it, he says is, I know you understand that we are under a Republican republic, a republic form of government. The United States is a republic form of government. The United States of America is a democratic working under this form. So he literally gave the distinction between the two at the very beginning of the conversation. But most people don't understand that he did because it goes over their heads. He separated the contracts that the United States of America uses from the republic form of government that the United States. So in that, he made sure that Justice Scalia understood and everybody there understood. But well, do you understand? The answer is no, and that's what they always bet on, is that you do not comprehend the language that we are saying. So when we say it, you are just going about it like it wasn't said at all.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm about to send you that link right now.
Okay. Where you sending it?
And the last, yep.
I'm sending it to the group chat.
Well, not last 15 minutes.
Well, it's only a 10-minute long video. I mean, yeah, you probably seen the whole joint, but
that's what I said.
Well, then, yeah, this probably is.
It says, Justice Scalia says, look, people talk about, I'm gonna give it to you like he says it and paraphrasing. I can almost remember it verbatim, but I can't yet remember it verbatim. But he says, people always that we strike down your laws, or we strike down the rulings of the courts and things of that nature. We don't strike down anything. We just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
That's Justice Scalia talking to Mike Lee. We don't strike it down. We just ignore it because that has nothing to do with what we do. You can make all the rules, regulations you say, but if they go against anything that the republic form of government says, that's when we step in. It's two different things. Your position as a business can interfere with my position as a man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
Ironclad.
That's what's up, man. This one has been great. I love everything that I learned, and I really appreciate you guys for all y'all hard work and research y'all do, man, and experiences that y'all are giving the community, man. And it's really needed, and we're really grateful for that, man. So just want to say thank y'all.
People, I love my men and women. I love everyone, and that is what the crux of the matter, and where I get into trouble is because I do everything out of love, personal financial gain for loving people. Oxymoron. Okay.
We really appreciate you for that, bro. Facts.
I love you, man. Like I love everybody else. Love you. I said, I told you that before, man. We talk. Love you. And we as men, black men, have gotten into the situation where we are told how to be black men.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not allowed to just be black men. We're told how to be. And the fact that someone is telling you else is telling you how to live your life and be who you are, if you don't see the messed up mind of that, that you won't ever get to be. You'll always be what they want you to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So yeah, man. All y'all youngins who watching this, man, and even the older ones, man. Hey, all y'all, my brothers, man. I love y'all all, man. Just we gotta, do it for us, man, and make these changes, man, and change the mindset, man. That's what's happening to me right now as I listen and go over these different cases and this information and language with you all. Is just opening my eyes up more and allowing me to have that thought process, and also the clarity in what's actually going on and taking place around me, and then learning how to apply it, so it's amazing.
Yeah. So I just want to say, like my friend over here saying, "Oh, go ahead."
Listen to what people are telling you.
You went out, bro.
No, listen to what people are telling you. Always listen to what they're saying. Don't listen to what they're saying. What they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It must have cut out.
Just listen to what they're saying.
Hey, I was just gonna say, hey man, we've done this research, we've compiled this information, but I really appreciate engagement. So like if you find some other information and somebody wants to step to the fore and put something on blast or help move it forward, let's all keep contributing.
Absolutely, man. Y'all got questions, topics y'all want to hear specifically about? Yeah, please feel free to tap in with us and ask anything you like, say anything you like, and we can keep this thing moving, man. Keep it moving right along. But this has been another episode of Hidden Black's Law. Great subject, man. Language, interaction, man, and to practical application. So y'all keep studying, man. Y'all keep paying attention to this language, and y'all do what it do. It's your boy Bach, everything DMV Radio, man. We in the building with plain Cite and Google, and y'all know what we do, man. Hidden Black's Law, man. Overstand.
Exactly. Overstand.
Later,
Be out here agreeing to anything. All right, Joe.